It's Friday. How's it going, everybody? It is the 6-star basic Odin grind. And I'm going for a All-Father Odin myself. Hope you guys are doing well. It's the end of the week. It's the start of the weekend. It is a very good time to kick back, hang out, have a good time. That is exactly what we're going to be doing on tonight's stream. I'm vonShoe. It is a pleasure being here with you guys. Thank you for being here too. Hope you guys have had a most excellent week. Ah, boy. Certainly a busy, productive week here on my end. Looking forward to having a little bit of downtime, a little bit of quiet time, a little bit of Odin grinding time. All of the above. And, you know, we'll see how it goes here in a couple, in a day and a half. Now, people are predicting this guy is going to go for 50 million, 60 million, somewhere in there. I'm just going to try and put up as many points as I can and hope for the best. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Excuse me. So if you guys are tuning in now, the last stream we did on Wednesday wound up doing 2 Karina challenges. Wound up doing 1992 through 1997 with X-Men going up against the Act 6 Crossbones boss, as well as Astral Anger, which used 5-star Cosmics against the Mordo Path, also in Act 6. It was fun times. Ish. Wound up going a lot faster than I thought it would. And now I only got 3 Karina challenges left, and all 3 of those are the Labyrinth ones, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I've already started the grind to build up some revives again. And, you know, hope for the best. The goal here and the idea for the last 3 Labyrinth challenges is to get it done by Cyber Weekend. Because, you know, Lordy knows what's going to pop up around then, and, you know, have that extra rank 4 materials in hand. But that's not today. That's not for a little bit. I want to say howdy to Jacob. Jacob popping in and saying, "What's up, Rob?" What up, Jacob? How you doing, bud? And Seema says, "Good morning." Hey, good morning to you, too. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are doing most excellent. So I want to put out a tweet just as I was going live here, or it should be going live here in a little second, I should say. And it's not the question of the day. That one's over this way. But man, I gotta tell you, doing a basic grind for a top 100 spot feels so much worse than going for a top 100 spot in the featured 6-star arena. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is, but it certainly feels that way. I think it's because the 6 stars here don't give like bonus points, so it just feels like progress is so much slower. Freaky how that works. Cyber popping in saying, "Hey, Rob, how's it going?" Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good going into the weekend. It's been a good week. How are you doing? Redwood also popping in saying, "Yo, what up, Rob? What up, Redwood? Good to see you all. Good to see you. Hope you guys' week has all gone well." We got a confirmation today that Thor Ragnarok and Guillotine are going to be the 2 new buffs for next month. Next month is going to be the first month where they're only doing 2, cutting it back from 3. So I'm assuming that Guillotine is going to be the overhaul, and then Thor Rags is going to be either a value update or a moderate update. I don't know. I don't think they said yet, but that's my guess. Just because Guillotine was the whatchamacallit, the poll choice, the fan choice, the one we all voted on. So it'd be pretty cool to see what they wind up doing with both of them. Still no official confirmation on who the new champions are, but my guess, just because it's all tied in with Halloween, is that The leaks, well, leaks might wind up maybe at least falling into that pattern. So we'll see. Redwood saying, "You got this, man. Good luck." Thanks, Redwood. I got a lot of grinding to do between now and then. Cyber answering the question of the day over here on my left. Of the two, glass for sure. Soda tastes better in a glass, but overall, bottle is the way to go for me. Yeah, if you can find a soda in a natural glass bottle, so much better than a plastic bottle. Like, they have that with Coke, and out here, they've got a couple different varieties of Coke, like Coke made with cane sugar instead of artificial sugar. That usually comes in a glass bottle, and man, you can taste the difference. It's delicious. And Anemone Emily, dang it, I almost had it. I almost had it. And Anemone Enemy, there we go. It says great title for the stream. Appreciate that, bud. It is Rob versus bots. So I'm hoping that they've addressed the bot situation, because the last arena, the leaderboards appeared pretty okay as far as bots go. Mercs, anybody's guess. But for the last couple months preceding that, 20% of the top, well, it ranged. 20% of the top spots were bots. 100% they were bots. And I'm hoping that there's a huge, massive ban wave coming now that Alliance War is done. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Berserk popping in saying, "Hey, Rob, good luck with the grind." Appreciate that, bud. Appreciate that a lot. M. Bell saying, "Hello from Akron, Ohio." Well, howdy, howdy. Howdy from beautiful Los Angeles, California. Good to see you, bud. Redwood saying, "Can I take him my 5-star Gilly to rank 5? I hope so. I hope so. I hope the buff or rework or whatever, hope the update is good. At the end of the day, that's what I'm hoping for both of them. I just want them to be good. And fun. Fun almost more so than good, but good just to make them stay relevant, I suppose. I have high hopes for Guillotine, just because Guillotine is like a Kabam creation, and, you know, I'd like to think that they're gonna do right by their own character, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. This month was actually the first time they went to 2. Miles and Gamora were the champs. Yes, that is true. That is true. So this is the second month with only 2 champs. Redwood saying, glad she got the buff. If you guessed it, she was the one who got me through Realm, just like she did for about 90% of the other players back before there were other counters. Yeah, she was the go-to option for taking care of Wolverine. The go-to option. And the nice thing with Gilly is, I mean, all you needed was like a 2-star or a 3-star to reverse those heals, and then you were good to go. Cyber saying, if the leaks are true, I may go into debt just on how many calves I'll go for both of them. That's funny. I personally hope that the leaks are true. I really do hope that they are true. But then just as much so that the kits behind the characters are good. That they wound up getting the Apocalypse treatments instead of the Sentry treatment, you know? That and the synergies come in spades. Because for me personally, like, a champion's kit is one thing. It's a huge part of like their appeal. But just as important to the kit are the synergies. Because getting a new champion's fun, but at the same time too, I want to make the champions I have already better. So I'm very excited about that. Very, very excited. Berserk saying, I really hope the Thor buff is good. I'll feel better to have a prestige champ that's also worth something. Like Doom. Yeah, right? Because, like, Thor Rags is right up there with Silver Surfer, where they're a great prestige champ, but it kind of feels bad ranking them up because they're not bad champions, but they're not fun champions, and arguably not very great. Not bad, but definitely not great. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if they wind up, like, trying to do something new with it, or if they, like, keep the crux of it the same, where it's like that huge power gain and then shocks for days. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. That's kind of what I'm assuming it's going to be, because, like, Thor Rags is such a unique champion between the, like, the power gain and whatnot, that I'd be very disappointed if they wound up taking that away. Just because it's like part and parcel of that character. And he's like built into arenas now. So it'd be a big shift to the meta if like all the Thor Rags as with Thanos team or whatchamacallit, a Kang team wind up getting mixed up. We'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that the spotlights are out next week. That way we can, you know, start dissecting it and kind of sink our teeth into it a little bit too. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just hoping that Kabam winds up releasing the spotlights before it gets leaked. Hoping Big Papa Null will be the APOC of the symbiotes. I hope so too. And there's also just a lot of fun debate about what class he potentially could be. Same with the Anti-Venom. You know? Like, science for Anti-Venom? Cosmic, because they're symbiotes? Mystic, just because, like, it's been typically Mystic champions in October. Between, was it Morningstar was a Halloween release, Symbiote Supreme was a Halloween release. I don't know, we'll see, right? Freaking Gilly, man. I think Gilly has to be my least favorite arena fight. Just because, like, that invisibility goes on for so long. It really slows down the cadence of the fights. Rylan says, I want that Mr. Negative. He's coming back to a basic arena here in like a couple months. So we definitely have a chance to get him again, and I'm very excited about that. I very much want to rank or to awaken Mr. Negative because I want to take that guy to rank 3. He's so much fun. He's so much fun. Plus, it'd be like a nice little bookend, right? So the story with me with Mr. Negative is that I wound up grinding his feature arena, and I wound up getting like 106, 108, something like that, which hurt. And then I lucked out and got him from Cavs after the fact, which was really cool. Very, very cool. And then I wound up going for 13 featured crystals from the current batch to try and get him awakened. And I went 0 for 13 on featured champs. Bunch of Sentinels. Bunch of Storm Pyramid X's and everybody except the featureds. So I just gotta wait for him to come back around, I guess. speculating that Anti-Venom will either be Cosmic or Science, and Null will be either Mystic or Cosmic. Yeah. I'm gonna guess, if I had to guess, it would probably... I don't know. I won't go on a limb and say Science and Mystic. That's my guess, Science and Mystic. Because they've only done, what, 2 Mystic Champions this year, I think? America Chavez and... wow, brain fart. Who was the other one earlier this year? Purgatory. There we go. So, like, they really could use, like, another, like, banger kind of Mystic Champion. But I don't know. It also depends if we get like the 2017 version of Kabam where they just like assign classes willy-nilly. Anti-Venom will be skill and like Null will be, I don't know, mutant or something like that. 2017 was wild. Redwood saying, I wonder if next month we'll be seeing Blade as a 6-star. I hope so. I really hope so. I've heard some bluster that they don't want to release Blade because of his healing ability, but I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy that argument. His healing ability is really nice, but I don't think it's to the point where it's like it'd be busted as a 6-star, you know? Not like some of the other healing champs out there. Mr. Smoke popping in. What up, Mr. Smoke? Happy Friday, bud. Good to see you. Flame War between Dragon Man and Hype. Rylan saying, I'm uncollected with limited champions, so I don't know if I'd be able to get him from the arena. If nothing else, could get him from milestones. But it is possible. It is possible. It will be a push. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. It would be a push. But it is possible. There's only 2 symbiotes not cosmic. I think they'll be cosmic. I'd hate them to assign classes just for balancing the numbers. Scar, I agree. I agree. Oh yeah, and MCoC. I completely forgot MCoC, yeah. So 3 Mystic champs. Thanks, Anemone. Seems like back when Symbiote Supreme came out, they kind of used him in that Null sort of Master of Symbiotes role for the lore. Bringing Null in would be interesting in how they retcon him in. Maybe. I mean, with them doing as much like multi-dimensional, cross-dimensional stuff that they're doing now, they probably could figure it out. Or just do like a 180 and just hope that, you know, the community isn't paying attention. Anyone know who the best counter for Bishop in Cav Quest? Beat him with Guardian, but he doesn't have any other suggestions. Most anybody who's Incinerate immune is going to have a good time. So, I mean, the biggest Incinerate immunes are Torch and Cosmic Ghost Rider, right? Those, but aside from that, there's Red Hulk, there's Emma Frost. What's his name? Night Thrasher, I think, is Incinerate immune. So there's other options. But yeah, I mean, Corvus gets it done quick. Berserk saying no one really uses Blade nowadays. Even though he's great healing, so I don't think people will change towards him as a 6-star. I don't either. I think, honestly, it'd be this exact same boat as, like, Stark Spidey. Where there's, like, a big, like, swelling of support for the nostalgia factor for, you know, those of us who remember him as a 5-star. And what he meant to the game as a 5-star. And he isn't going to be bad. I just think that, to your point, the game has definitely progressed and moved on a lot since when he first came out. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. So, like, is he going to be good? Yeah. Is he going to be broken? No. Is he going to completely shift the meta? Nah, I doubt it. 1BM saying, hi. Well, howdy, howdy. Happy Friday. Welcome to the stream. How's it going, bud? We're doing all the 6-stars tonight. Blade's regen can't be as broken as Diablo. I agree. I agree. Plus, I mean, Blade needs to be awakened, too, to even get that regen. And if he's like a trophy champion and he isn't in the base pool, then people who can get him awakened, I think, kind of deserve it at that point, you know? Plus, if they've already got Stark Spidey and Ghost Rider as available 6-stars, it'd be really nice to have a Trinity again. Pew pew, pew pew. If you got a Captain Marvel movie, she might be a solution for Bishop as well. Sort of like in the Corvus vein, where he's not immune, per se, but she would rack up enough energy charges to go Super Saiyan, and then just, like, lay waste to Bishop. Before, like, the Incinerate does a whole lot of damage. Like, some damage, sure, but not, like, a whole lot of damage. Kitty Pryde being the newest champion in the game. I can't say Kitty Pryde just because, again, she's too new. But she would also fit that bill. If she's awakened, then you could phase through some of the insta specials the Bishop gets. Colossus as well. Thanks, Kabir. But Torch triggers all of Bishop's bad things. Yes. Might be an option for a Nova, then. Bishop just got buffed to be like a really annoyingly good mutant champion. Not like the mutant class needed another one of those, but yeah, man, his buff is good. Yeah, my cousin about to quit because of him. Oh no. He has immune champs, but the power gain on the node with his already built-in power gain takes him out quick. Yup. I was kind of hoping that, like, AQ would kind of get readjusted a little bit for the buffs. And rarely it does, but most of the time it doesn't, which is very disappointing. Like, for instance, I mean, that Bishop fight, right? I've got a Magneto with Energized, Taunt Immune, and All or Nothing. And, like, the solution to that before was Corvus. Like, one of the few solutions was Corvus. Because, you know, you could do some damage. It's, like, literally, it's the first fight on the map, so you can't, like, ramp up or anything beforehand. Where you would just, like, Corvus him away, slowly but surely, with the timeout trick. But since his buff, now Corvus is metal, and that's just bad times. And it's just a really bad node. Like, there's so few counters. And, like, the only counters that you do have are, like, not cheesing around the node, but it's not playing to the node. Like, you can just quake it, which is what I wound up doing. But it's not fun, and it's not, I don't know, interacting with the node in a interesting way. It's complete crock because, like, a 5-hit combo is 2 full bars of power already. 7 hits is 3, like 3 bars of power, and then at that point you're toast because it's map 7 and that single special 3 will KO you. So it's just bad design, to be honest. Blacknet popping in saying, "Yo Rob, how's it going, bro?" Very good for a Friday night. I'm doing very well, and I hope you guys out there are doing well as well. Good to see you, good to hang out too. I'm just slapping away, putting up points, seeing how it goes. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'd very much like a 6-star Odin, just because his abilities scale with rarity. But, definitely got my work cut out for me. Renee popping in saying, "What's up, Robski? You going for the 6-star or 5-star? How high do you think each will go?" Well, howdy. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you. I am going for the 6-star version. Cutoff for that, I think, is going to be about 55, 60 mil, somewhere in there. For the 5-star, I don't know, maybe like 30, 35, something like that. Tops. Just because it's like a fantastic opportunity to get such a wonderful synergy champion, you know? Going for the 6-star Odin. Hey, good luck. I think it's really interesting how it wound up breaking down. I think that Odin is going to be a lot more popular than people were originally speculating. And I think a lot of people are going for Odin round 1 with the idea of going for Archangel round 2. So I think the Archangel cutoff is probably going to be a lot lower than people are expecting. Just because a lot of people are going Odin, which is nuts to me. But I wish you the best of luck. I'm looking forward to seeing your name up on the board with mine here in a day and a half. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. But yeah, I think 55-60 should be sufficient. Just like keeping up with recent cutoffs. Where it's still competitive, but it's not like absurd. Let's do that. Do you think he'll be like White Mags as a support champ? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think he's a lot better to play offensively with his tune-up, with his buff, whatever you want to call it. I think he's a lot better to play offensively, yeah. But because he winds up buffing Cosmic champions, a lot of champions, but mostly Cosmic champions, I think people are going to wind up still playing more as other Cosmic champions and then just kind of relegating him to like a buff giver, you know? At least that's how I plan on playing mine. Like making Angela a horseman and just going to town. I appreciate the well wishes. Because I remember Seaton wound up putting out a really good Odin video back when he got that buff however many months ago that was. A lot of people were starting to put out some videos. Which is cool. It's nice that a support character sort of can do that. But, okay, like that's not even close to a KO. Good. Okay, stop it. 5% health. That's it. Lovely. Oof. Hercules and Hyperion. Yeah, those would be good options too. I think Angela, I think, would be the best of the three, just because she gets the synergy with Odin as well, where the more fights you play together in a quest, the stronger she gets, in addition to being a horseman, which is pretty cool. Hercules is just broken already as is, so if, I mean, yeah, Odin will make him better, but he's still broken. Hyperion, definitely. And then, especially as more people start getting 6-star Hyperions, my guess is that we're going to wind up seeing Hyperion calves sometime within the next month. And that's going to be insane. Cyber asking, who do the Packers play this week? We are playing the Lions. It's a Monday game, which is pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see which version of the Packers we wind up getting this week. Hopefully they can work some stuff out. Come out swinging. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season. Hopefully management and Rodgers can kiss and, if not kiss and make up, at least make it work for the season. Before he kind of like, they kind of swan song him off into, you know, into the sunset. M. Bell's a Browns fan. Good on you, bud. Good on you. Here's hoping for a strong Browns season. I use my 5-star for Angela a lot. Would definitely like the 6-star, though, for scaling, like you said. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for like a couple of reasons, right? I mean, the scaling just for the synergy itself, and then the 6-star version would have that added adrenaline mechanic. So just in case everybody else on your squad winds up getting KO'd, well, now you got a stronger Odin as like a last-ditch effort sort of thing, you know? I mean, you would think, Cyber. You would think. I don't know. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it. Wow Owl says, hey, good luck with the grind. Who's better, OG Vision or Age of Ultron Vision? Thanks. That's weird. I definitely pressed that. I would argue that Age of Ultron Vision is better. OG Vision is nice because he gets the power gain automatically, like every, was it 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is, which is very helpful. But the Age of Ultron version, you can control when you get that big power spike. It's based off of the damage he deals off of his Awakened special ability. Plus, OG Vision, you have to like buy as part of a special offer, and I don't know, that kind of feels a bit price gougy to me. Especially get him not once but twice. So if I had the option to have like both of them at like rank 1 level 1 again, I'd definitely go movie version. Eagles at the Niners this week. If the Eagles play like they did against Atlanta, we should be good. If I don't know. I mean, I remember when like the Browns were a butt of a joke, and then the Browns started coming out swinging, which makes it a much more interesting game to watch. 5-star Sig 120 Angela to rank 5 or Angela 6-star Sig 20 to rank 2. I would... Well, here's the thing. Do you want to take Angela to rank 3 sometime in the next 6 months to a year tops? I definitely thought I was heavy charging there. It's twice. Love it. Because if you do plan on taking the 6-star version to rank 3 soon-ish, then I would do the rank... I would do the 6-star for sure. Even though the 5-star is a lot better. Because right now at Sig 20, she needs like, what, 6 buffs, I think, to go debuff immune? Debuff resistant, whatever. Whereas the Sig 120 Angela needs like 4 1/4 or something like that. Which, with Odin, means that she's basically debuff immune out of the gate. Whereas the 6-star Sig 20 version needs to proc a couple buffs first. So there still is that little bit of window of failure. But my point there being, that way you don't double down, because you don't need 2 Angelas. I remember the Browns 0-16 season. It was legendary. It's one for the ages. It's one that people will keep telling their kids about. Man, I gotta just feel bad for him, though. You just gotta feel bad for him. I don't know if it was the Browns I wound up getting the royal treatment with this joke first, or... Because everybody's wound up... You know, you can substitute your team, but... Like, once you wind up passing away, put in your will that you want the... We'll just say the Packers, just because they're my team. I want the Packers to be the pallbearers for my coffin. That way, they can let me down one last time. But hopefully not this season. Hopefully it's not that way for the Packers. They just got to rebuild and kind of rediscover themselves, the new dynamic. It's more impressive to be consistently that bad than to be bad, but still win a few games. It was a perfect season. It was a perfect season. That goose egg, though. That hurts. That hurts. Man. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be a Browns fan that season. Like, at that point, if there's just, like, some point about midway through the season where, it, like... You know, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. You just become numb to it. Well, what's it gonna be this week? Another L? Yeah, probably. Alright, well, let's get it over with. Let alone for, like, the players and on the team and the coaching staff behind them. Can you imagine how demoralizing that would be? How quiet that locker room could get? Dex, watch out for the evades. Come on. Dex. Freaking evade, man. How many points will you lose by this week? I would start checking the players for like making bets on the down low, or like through a second, third party. Because like at that point, you could start cleaning up, take them numbers to Vegas. You gotta be super careful about it because you don't want to like Pete Rose yourself, but. And crash number 1. Love it. That's going to be so interesting if Pete Rose is ever going to make it into the Hall of Fame. Or if Coopertown is just going to wind up like doing it out of spite, where they wait too long until he passes away, and then post-mortem, then he gets added. That'd be such a serious slight. Such a serious slight. Speaking of Vegas, that Raiders game was insane. You know, I missed it. I only caught snippets after the fact. Like, I'm still getting used to calling the Vegas Raiders, right? That's gonna take a bit. But I mean, good on them. Still is kind of freaky that Vegas has a football team. Like, nice freaky. What kind of freaky? Also freaky and kind of BS that LA has two teams. It'll be fun to check out the stadium because that's done now. It's fun driving by it a few times I did. On the freeway, you can see the construction from the freeway. But like they basically like raised the neighborhood and just like built a stadium right in the neighborhood. They're like, yep, you guys don't live here anymore. In beautiful Hawthorne, California. I don't know. That's a whole tangent right there. That is a whole tangent. PB popping in saying, so Rob, for this arena, are you holding on tight for that top score? I'm holding on to a prayer. One of these days when I finally get membership set up on the channel, I want to bring over some of the emojis from the Discord, in addition to a bunch more. One of them that I made is a Odin. So it's a Mega Man pixel sprite of Chippendale Odin, because why not? Big Money says, yo, just finished my grind. Don't want to try for that 6-star Odin. Just need a 5-star for the Hellas Energy at 16 mil at the minute. Hey, nice. Good luck. Yeah, the 6-star cutoff is going to be wild. There are a lot more people going for Odin than I think anybody anticipated going into it. Buddy Lee stopping by saying, howdy, Rob. Howdy, chat. Howdy, buddy. How's it going, my friend? And a happy Friday to you. Oh, my sweet Mephisto. These new cav objectives are horrible. Yeah. So there's two ways that you can like spam and cheese your way through it. One of them is to bring Immortal Hulk into Act 7.2.4 on the Slumber and Flare path. So you're fighting against opponents that are just standing there and iHulk just slaps them silly. Otherwise, it's to bring either Ghost or Jabari or Mr. Negative to one of the Icarus paths and just melt opponents that way. Stop evading, Jesus. Just slows the fight down so considerably. But I absolutely agree that the objectives are just tedious. Last month wasn't much better. You know, it's so boring to do 50 KOs with ending with a light attack, do 50 more KOs with a medium attack, do 50 more KOs with a heavy attack. And let's just round it out with more KOs, with special ones. It's like, stop it. Stop it. I entirely agree with BG and the way that he put it, that this game is 7 years old and that there are players who have been playing for, if not 7 years, then long enough, where an objective like that is almost insulting. (623) Killmonger with Void Synergy, 3 energy spend. There you go. But my Killmonger isn't ranked up. Cleared with him as at rank 2. But I do have a 6-star Jabari. As a 5-star, big money. There you go. I'm jealous of that 6-star Jabari. I might wind up going for her in the basic arena. It depends. If I keep doing more of these basic arenas, I gotta watch that I don't get burnt out. Because I'm not kidding, the basic arena grind feels so much worse. So much worse than doing a featured grind. I hate how much Spider-Gwen evades you, but when I use my max sig, and I get comboed into Oblivion with no evades. That's Kabam logic right there. That is straight up Kabamery. 2 videos of the fight. Mine is rank 4 now, but it is so fast. 36 hits for 177,000. Dang. I've got no idea how she works. Open 1 Silver Centurion Cav, got her as a 6. Basically, I mean, with her unawakened, you just gotta keep slapping away. The best part about the unawakened version is the easy access purify she gets. Downside about Jabari is that she really needs to be mid to high sig to prolong the hunt phase, because that's where all the crazy bleeds come from. So honestly, a 6-star is cool, but the 5-star is almost kind of better in that regard, just because it's easier to sig up. Okay, got that. Do that. Excuse me. And, no. Do that. And poison immune. Buddy Lee saying, feeling a little YouTube burnout. Been doing video almost every day for a while. Just went to do a Kitty Grandmaster solo, messed up right at the end, and it's very frustrating. Yeah, I feel you there. I feel you there. And it's tough too, because on one hand, making YouTube videos for YouTube it's a lot of fun. It also can be a lot of work. Not bad work. I don't want to make it sound like it's a negative, but it's time intensive, right? Recording the thing that you want to, what you want to post about, what you want to talk about, the editing, any sort of voiceover, and just you know, making sure it's worth people's time. And the product you get is, it's good, it's rewarding. You put it out there and it does however it winds up doing. But at the same time too, we wind up spending a lot of time doing that, and it kind of takes away from playing the game too. It's kind of how it feels for me sometimes, and really that's why some of the updates have been a little bit slower than I would have liked otherwise. Just because I've been doing arena grinds for all these champions that I don't have, and I like doing arena grinds because it's the easiest, most cost-efficient way to get new characters. It just takes a lot of time. So it's kind of a give and take, you know. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just easing off a little bit too for your own, you know, your own mental well-being too. There'll always be another YouTube hustle. I wondered about that. I was just checking out right now on the Twitter feed. There was a wee little baby earthquake rolling through LA area here about 45 minutes ago. I felt it, but it also kind of felt like it was just somebody slamming a door really hard, where it's just like, well, now is it? So, that's okay. Little rumblers like that are nice. Big money started at 3 million this morning. I'm at 16 million now, so yeah, it takes a lot of time. Yep. Well, and then look at it too. I mean, I'm only 160 rounds in. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm 160 rounds in already, which is a lot. But I'm only at 15 million points. That's why another psychological reason I don't like basic arena, because that's a lot of grinding for not a lot of results. Come on. Let's see what that does. That'll work. That'll work. You have more 6 stars than me. Yeah, but that's a double-edged sword. That is a double-edged sword, especially for the basic arena. Because the 6 stars don't count any more points than a 5-star does. And you can burn through all of your 6 stars, which is great, without getting a Doom Squad. The downside to that is that if you want to like sit down and run through all of your champs top to bottom, like, it takes at least 3 hours. Between the 6s and the 5s, that takes about 3 hours. That is a long time for one round. If you got the time to do it, by all means, absolutely. By all means. I still maintain, I mean, the arena is the best way to get characters and loot, bar none, if you got the time. Times like that, I wish I had beta. I do really enjoy doing YouTube, but I'm now seeing so many others are in beta, and for doing this hard stuff, it takes my resources. That is very true. That is very, very true. Everybody's got their own way of doing videos, right? Everybody's got their own way of doing videos, and everybody likes highlighting their own stuff. So I'm not gonna single out anybody, and I'm not gonna talk down on how anybody does their stuff. Because I do stuff my way, and other people do stuff their way, and that's good and that's great. But I don't know. That is doing it on beta where you can just like farm to your heart's content and use pots and resources to your heart's content is nice, I guess, but man. It's a whole nother thing to do it live. And there's some things you can only do live. And then using the energy pots to get to where you need to go, and the revives if you mess up, and the heals to, you know, heal up again. That is just very cost effective, cost inefficient, I should say. So here's what I propose, and it's something I've been trying to propose for a while, but you know, it's just basically me, old man, waving fists, shouting at the clouds. But like some people wind up getting access to like 7.1 beta, 7.2 beta, or whatever, right? And then they can play around on a beta server for a week, couple weeks, something, testing out the new content and enjoying having access to a beta where nothing matters. You know, nothing matters. So what I propose is that everybody has access to a beta server at least once a year. At least once a year, where it rotates. You know, because having everybody on a second beta at the same time is a huge undertaking, resource-wise. So you shift, you know. Everybody gets like, I don't know, a couple days or like a week on the beta server once a year, whatever. I'm not worrying about logistically how that works out, but the important thing is that you have access to the beta. So at that point, you know, you can rank up champions that you wouldn't be able to rank up otherwise. You can test things out without it costing you resources. You can explore, you can practice, you can discover new ways of playing with characters that you wouldn't ever have the resources to rank up and play around with otherwise. If you're hoarding crystals, you can open up crystals on the beta and just enjoy whatever pops out for the couple of days that you're on the beta before it all goes back to the way it was. But it's so useful. It's so useful having that, like, you know, no permanent consequences sandbox of opportunity that other players get, you know. Because otherwise, you're completely reliant on videos that people put out on YouTube, word of mouth, but it's not the same as, like, getting to play the character yourself and seeing for yourself if you like how a champion plays, or how smooth a combo rotation is, or how powerful synergies are, any of that. I just wish that'd be something that they do, you know? But I got that rank 3 Ghost Sig 180. I was gonna say, why am I hitting like a noodle? I mean, it's Karnak, but even noodly for Karnak. You gotta do the 6 stars immediately so you can have less downtime on them when you run 2 rounds of the 5s. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how I've been doing it. I start off with the weakest 6 stars to build up the first 5 rounds of victories, and then start towards the top of the roster and work my way down. And then once the 6 stars are all on cooldown, then jump over to the 5s, start with the 5 rank 5s, 5 rank 4s, and then kind of like jump around from there. But even still, and that's like the optimal ways. So like the 6 stars come off a cooldown first. It still is very time intensive. Astro popping in saying, hello, hello. What up, Astro? Good to see you, my friend. How are you? How's everything? Feels better doing it on a live server for sure, but let's say I want to do an ultimate showcase of a bunch of different stuff. Just energy alone is a lot. Yep. And then, you know, what happens if you get disconnected? Well, then your run is dead. Or you gotta chip in a bunch of your own resources to heal up back to full health, say. Or just some shenanigans ensue, something goes wonky, something terrible happens. It happens all the time, especially with current state of the game. And pots aren't cheap. Revives aren't cheap. Especially if you're trying to save up to do like some content yourself. It's gnarly. I want each person's beta to have access to everything you already have cleared, so you can't practice undone paths. Sometimes I just want to test certain champs on nodes, but then I have to use my energy and it feels bad. Knowing some people can do it for free. Yep, I feel that. For the 7.1 and the 7.2 betas, Berserk, that's how it currently works. So what they wind up doing is that they clone your account, like copy paste, in its entirety. So all the champions that you have on the main, at the rank and level that they're at, go to the beta. All the crystals you have unopened, copy paste to the beta. And then depending what kind of beta it is, sometimes they offer free rank up materials too. Like if you're testing a champion, then you have access to that. If you're testing a map, then you've got access to super cheap, super almost free, like pots and revives and stuff to test out the content. It really is like a big old sandbox of no consequences. And Emily says, the beta idea would be great. As part of the old buff betas for Venom, Carnage, She-Hulk, and etc. Now it's great for testing out other rank ups too. Yep. Sunspotted saying howdy howdy. What up, Sunspotted? Hello again. The cost for potions and revives is almost criminal. Like how expensive it is relative to how much like health you get from those pots. It's redonkulous. I think the beta server for YouTube is fine. You have to earn your way in. It was my initial goal starting YouTube to get into the beta. I'm now at almost 6,000 subs and not in, and people continued. Assuming that's to be continued. Dash popping in real quick just to say hey. What up, Dash? Good to see you, bud. Appreciate you popping in real quick. Almost at 6,000 subs. And people who started not long ago with 1,000 or less subs get in right away. It's great that they're in, but what the heck am I supposed to do? I don't know. That whole process could use such greater transparency in terms of like how it works, having a more set deadline to hear back one way or the other. Much more so than what they got going now. Because for me, the first time I submitted, I got ghosted. Like straight up ghosted. Waited the 3 months between applications, turned in the second time, and on my second time I wound up getting in. Which was very lucky, because some people go through like 3, 4, 5 rounds or more without hearing anything. How discouraging is that? You're just like sending off this thing, this potentially like account changing, experience changing thing out there into the ether with the expectation that you're gonna hear back one way or another, and then you don't. Dash saying for the question of the day, soda in a can, 100% better. There you go. The nice thing about the can is sticking it in the freezer for a bit. Like, not before you open it, granted. But here's what I like to do. Take a can of soda and get like paper towel and wrap the paper towel around the can. Drench the paper towel in water, so now you've got yourself like a paper towel koozie around the soda can, right? And stick that in the freezer for like anywhere between like 5 and 15 minutes, depending. Now you've got yourself like an ice cold drink ready to go. Not just cool, but like ice cold. It's wonderful. But gotta pay attention to it, because if it's in there for too long, the can explodes or starts to freeze over. The best soda I've ever had in my life, I had that away, where like it was just starting to crystallize inside the can. So there were like little tiny ice shavings. It wasn't even chunks, it was like little ice shavings of soda inside the can. Ah, man. It was delicious. Hey, B McG popping in. What up, Brendan? Saying, are ya winning, son? Aye, aye, Captain. Man, I hope so. Against the bots, this round I'm feeling really good going up against bots. Mercs and pilots, on the other hand, I do not feel good about at all. I just keep hearing too much empirical hearsay, basically, about people in, you know, confiding that their alliance mates account share to get the massive points required. And it's just so disheartening. Disheartening that it's happening in the first place. Disheartening because it drives up arena scores considerably. So if you think the arena scores are high, that's one of the reasons for it. But then it's also kind of disheartening that nothing's been done about it yet either. What is my favorite soda? That's tough. So I've got 3 answers. That's kind of not exactly what you're looking for, but 3 answers. If I had to go to the store, or if I had to go to a restaurant or whatever and get a soda, it'd be a Coke. Coke and ice. Coke and no ice. But if I had to pick a favorite in a can, probably I don't know, it's a tie either between Cactus Cooler or Mellow Yellow, with Mountain Dew as like a third. But I would say probably Mellow Yellow is a favorite soda. Unless it's a fountain soda, and then I just make concoctions. So like half the cup of orange soda, and then the other half with either like Mr. Pibb or something like that. Mix that together. It is obnoxiously sweet, but I find it to be delicious. So there you go. 3 answers for my one favorite soda. Odin is definitely my most wanted character right now. Hope you get him. However you get him, I hope you get him. It really bothers me. Account sharing is literal garbage. Yup. Yup. That, and it's so loosely enforced too. I'm hoping that there's going to be a change to that, because it kind of ruins the spirit of the game. I saw someone in the line chat take their 6-star Corvus to rank 4. 20,000 PI. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Yep. PI for those guys get to be absolutely bonkers, especially when they've got like full damage masteries unlocked and then like synergied up to boost up the PI even more. I think the highest PI I've seen for the rank 4 character is like 23, 24,000, something like that. For Doom or Surfer is one of the two. It's nuts. It's nuts. Earning scores might never recover too, though, to be honest. The expectation has become this high due to the bots, mercs, etc. It'd be very hard for people to let it come down. Possibly. Possibly. So what wound up happening last time they did a massive arena ban wave, last time the bots were running rampant, the scores got, like, cut in half, almost. Like, that many bots are just taken out, and cheats were taken out of the equation. It was really ridiculous, and it was very eye-opening too to the arena players out there, just how busted the arena scores had become because of illicit cheats. So I'm hoping that something like that is going to happen again here, where people are just like so taken aback by the drop in the scores because, you know, the artificial players and aren't there to inflate the scores anymore. But we'll see. I will say this for the arena, at least on paper, as soon as like a new all-time high score has been reached, then that's the standard for everything else going forward. Like Shang-Chi went for like 120 million, something like that, and people are like, his score is only so high because he's so good, it's never going to be that high again. And like 120 million is like the absolute minimum now to even like be considered in the running for a 6-star. PB likes rum and coke with Panda Express orange chicken. Yes. I would agree with you. Panda Express and me aren't exactly on the best of terms right now, but there was a time that I'd be right there with you. Fanta Orange is probably my favorite, and yes, I loved mixing sodas when I worked at Taco Bell over the summer. It makes a huge difference. Like Like, what you get just straight out of the fountain is one thing, but then when you mix and match, oh yeah. It's a whole new world. Rob, is there a good cheese quest for the solo objective for defeating a 6-star with a special attack? I'm doing arena, but it's slow. Remind me again, PP, because the way I remember it is that you need to defeat somebody as a 6-star instead of defeating a 6-star with a special attack. I could be mistaken. But then again, I wound up doing most of those just playing arena normally anyway. If nothing else, if you can get to an Icarus path with Ghost, most of those fights are over with special attacks anyway, if you've got her. Or again, a Jabari or a Mr. Negative to cheese Icarus. Or an Angela. Angela's actually a better cheese than Ghost for Icarus now. Spidey 99 went for 145. Yep. It's absurd. Hercules went for 170. Basic champions are a little bit more obtainable. They're like 120, 130, somewhere in there, but it's not saying much. Because that still is an awful lot. Like, it gets to a point where it... Unless you've done an arena grind like that, to know what the difference between 120 and 170 million actually feels like, man, it's just numbers. Unless you've done it, it's just numbers. It's like, oh yeah, you know, the cutoff was like 120. I think the new cutoff is gonna be 130. So to be safe, I'll do 145. You know, it's so easy to just say that, but putting up that extra 10 or 25 million points, that just hurts. In effect, in the real world, in actuality. So, like, each new, like, 10 million points, each extra 10 million points, it is unpleasant, to say the least. Kitty was only 169.4 million. Ha! Only. What a discount. Kisley popping in and saying, what do you think about arena bots in the arena leaderboard? Well, first off, Kisley, how's it going, bud? Happy Friday. Welcome to the stream here. Hope you're doing well. What do I think about the bots? I despise the bots. Absolutely despise the bots. I think it ruins the competitive spirit of the arena. I think it takes away well-deserved spots from people who have justly earned them by investing their time, you know, a chunk of their life. Not to mention however many resources to get to whatever the cutoff is. I think it's incredibly unfair for the legit players who score like 101 plus. And that's just for like the arena. Not to mention how it's going to terribly skew the gifting event come December. So, yes, I do not like bots. I do not like them. Sam, I am. So I'm hoping that, you know, now that there's that big Alliance War ban wave, that they wind up taking a closer look at arenas and just go crazy. Because especially for the bots, if you permaban a bot account, all of the different 6-stars that they've wound up collecting and taking from other players get banned too. So then it's back to square one with a baby account, Meaning they're still going to wind up infesting like 61 100% bracket as they build up the accounts again, but it's not going to be taking like the lion's share of prizes. Gloria Man says, it says that star rating, it's as that star rating and you can knock it out just in EQ. I'm talking about the solo objective. Yes. Big howdy to Gloria Man as well. Howdy, howdy. Favorite concoction was Mountain Dew, Kickstart Orange, Sprite Sierra Mist, and G2 Punch for Gatorade. Basically a very good mango drink. I'll take your word on it. I'm having a difficult time imagining that in my head, but I'll take your word on it. I did 80 mil back when Aegon was in Arena. We have far fewer 6 stars then, but it was pretty constant with refreshes. I vowed never again. Yeah, I've vowed never again 3 times now. When Doom came out, I wound up putting up 110 million points, I think. And I vowed never again after that for Arena. Never anything like that again. And then Apocalypse came out not too long, well, a number of months later, half a year later. And I wound up going for that, wound up putting up 120, I think. No, 115. It was more than before, but not by a lot. That one wound up going a little bit better because I had more 5s and 6 stars to run. So it went a little bit smoother. But also vowed never again. And now, here I am again. But arenas, I think, have definitely gotten to the point now where it's more a question about time than anything else, than the number of champs you have or any of that. Because if you strictly run your champs every chance you get, for most people, it still is painfully shy of what the cutoff is. So then it's how you're going to wind up making up that difference. Which kind of takes away from the fun of it too, you know? Because then it just winds up being a refresh spam. Mick G says, unit-wise, it makes more sense for me to try and go for calves. I go way more for my units. For a big grind like that, for like a Hercules or for Kitty Pride, I would almost agree with you. I would almost agree with you. The difference being is that it's guaranteed if you wind up putting up enough points in Arena, you'll get the champion. Whereas for the crystals, you can go hundreds of crystals deep and get nothing. You get a lot of gold, that's great. You get a lot of ISO, that's great too. You might pull a few different 6 stars too, which may or may not be a good thing. But if you want that one specific character, that's the trade-off. It's just a shame that that's the situation. I was thinking about doing a video at some point, just saying how arenas don't work. And my point being is that there's only top 100 spots, right? So, top 100 for a brand new featured champion is going to be like the whales and the sweaty arena grinders. Going for it, right? The people who can either shell out money for it or have the time to devote to a massive cutoff. Now the idea behind the basic arena is for like up-and-coming players who are still fleshing out and building their 6-star roster to be able to get 6-star champions. Well, between you and me, that was a dumb idea to begin with. A very dumb idea to begin with. And in effect, in the numerous months that it's been out, it's just kind of like compounded it into an even bigger problem. To the point where I'm like, okay, so first debut of a character in the featured arena, it's your whales just going for it. Second appearance, it's the whales who missed out round 1 and the people who are, you know, whale light. So you've got a mighty impressive roster already to be able to put up a copious amount of points and the time in your life free to dedicate to a grind. You almost need like a third round of arenas, like a third appearance. If your intent is to really help players build up their original 6-star roster from the ground up, then you almost need a third round now, where you get all the sweaty tryhards, the arena whales, and all the whale wannabes out of the way. And let the people who are like running like a very modest 5-star account with a couple of 6-stars sprinkled in, like, get the 6-star like it was intended. Because otherwise, they don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. Because, like, case in point, look at me, right? I'm going for Odin in the basic arena. I didn't go for him in the featured last time. But I'm going for him in the basic. And I have a very well-developed 6-star and 5-star roster. And I'm competing against people who don't. That's just the reality of the situation. Going for only 100 spots, so it's not the intent of the arena. But I could have told him that months ago. Brennan says, I thought we said thank you to the bots. We did. We said thank you, thank off, and get thanked. And I'm hoping that they do. But time will tell. I haven't seen any posts about any like bans or anything yet, so I don't think it has happened, if it is going to happen yet. But I'm still waiting. Aryan says, hey Rob, can you see your Twitter, please? You need to help me. Need to help me in taking a mutant champ to rank 5. Alright, let's check it out. Question being, love it, whom should I take to rank 5? I love 4 of them. Let's bring you up here. So we got Havoc, Professor X, Archangel, Unduped, Omega, Domino, Sunspot, Stormax, Bishop. Archangel. I'd say of that lot, Archangel probably first. Because he's awakened, so not only does the neurotoxin just do a boatload of damage, but it also prevents regen and reduces ability accuracy, which are both massively useful for the success of the character. Do that. Oh, I feel a crash coming on. Got the lag, so I feel a crash coming. Sergeant MCoC says, hey Rob, good morning. Well, good morning to you too. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Guaranteed. I fear the mercs. A missing Cavs feels way better than a missing Arenas is what I was thinking of. That is true. That part is absolutely true. Because a miss in arena means you're getting a 5-star that most likely is going to do nothing for you, and a small helping of 6-star shards. Which, if you miss out at 150 million to get like a small compensation or consolation prize like that, yeah, that feels bad. That feels bad. At least these 6-star arenas give more people the 5-star. The champs I really want, I can reasonably get the 5-stars, such as Kitty Pride. That's true. That is true. That's a nice improvement over how it used to be. That being said, the game definitely has moved away from a 5-star meta, I think. So for a champion like Kitty, that's great, because, you know, going to be ranking her up high anyway. Same with, you know, champions like Shang-Chi and a bunch others this year. However, they kind of got to be that rank 4, rank 5 to be viable in end game content. And that gets to be a bit resource heavy. Boink. PB says, I told the bots to go thank themselves. Yeah, I think they're still working on that. Hey Rob, I did a Sector 7 incursion run yesterday, formed the 5-star crystal with all the shards from completing the zones, opened up a Mystic and Science dual class, and pulled Torch. Heck yeah. Man, that is a solid W. Solid W. Congrats. Can Torch handle the 621 Sim Supreme boss and the 625 Mordo boss? Don't have Doom yet, unfortunately. Yes. Yes. So Torch is one of those wonderful characters who really, the Awaken ability is kind of just like, doesn't matter. Because the important thing for both of those fights is that you can Nova. Now the problem, and it's true of the Awakened ability too, but especially the Unawakened, is that if you Nova and get KO'd, then the Nova is gone. It's gone for the rest of the quest. If they're Awakened, there's a very, very small chance it's going to come back, but most likely not. So yes, long story short, he would be very useful against those two. This is a few new champs I'd be happy with getting as a 5-star. Kitty, Herc, Shang-Chi. I'd still rank 5 them. I would too if I had the resources. Because at that point you need, what, at least 6, possibly 8 tier 2 alpha, 2 tier 5 basic, a disgusting amount of tier 4 class, and that I think is the biggest bottleneck now, is the tier 4 class instead of, like, you know, tier 5 basic, tier 2 alpha. It's freaky how that works. Boink. And then especially still for the pulling of 5-star. Like if you don't ever have any intent or desire to rank up a 6-star to rank 2, rank 3, ranking up the 5-star would be great because it's like, hey, they're ranked up enough, but I haven't invested like a disgusting amount of resources into them either. There we go, there's scratch number 2. Don't even get me started on the tier 5 basic situation. Yep. Balance is whack. The balance is whack. Still rocking 5 stars pretty heavy. Diablo, Herc, Kitty, Black Panther are some of my most used. I personally think we aren't there for a little while longer, especially with a couple of these OP champions. Yes. Hopefully we can stave that off as long as possible before they're like completely redundant. Right now they're just inconveniently redundant. In some cases. Cyber saying, did you watch Shang-Chi yet? No, not yet. I'm going Sunday. It has not been spoiled for me. Mostly. I'm really, really hoping to keep it that way. I've been keeping a super low profile online. I'm very excited to see it. It's the first movie I've seen in a theater in almost 2 years, year and a half. So, I'm looking forward to it. As long as a 5-star can be used for endgame content, we're not out of the 5-star meta yet. I would add an addendum to that, because I would argue that we are out of the 5-star meta, but 5 stars aren't useless. They aren't irrelevant. And the only reason I argue that it's a 6-star meta is because for like Act 7, right, you've got that massive 6-star boost. So if you bring 6 stars, your 6 stars immediately get a boost just for being 6 stars. And that's tailor suited specifically for them. And since that's like the endgame content, it's kind of like the endgame content is tailored towards that rarity, you know? Not that 5 stars are irrelevant. Not by a long shot. Just what I'm thinking, where I'm coming from. Reaper popping in saying, what up, Shoe? What up, what up? How you doing, bud? Happy Friday. Still running through the 6s here. For a little bit. We're getting there. We're getting there. I do not want to put Gilly against Torch. That would not work. That would be pretty bad. Come on. It would be nice if Hulkbuster could slow. I don't think he does. I went for it. I mean, that works too. That works too. If he wants to just KO himself, I'll take it. Makes sense. Act 7 has been so easy, though. That's a word for it. Act 7 has been fun. You can argue, yeah, it's been easy relative to some other content, but I think it's challenging if you don't have the exact right counter. If you do have a counter, yeah, it could be described as being easy, but I would certainly say it's fun. And Lordy knows this game can use content that's fun. So like for you guys out there, what was the last bit of content in the game that was fun? Not easy, not straightforward, not whatever. Not cheese or spam or whatever, but what was fun? Like you finished it and you're like, I want to do this again for fun, for funsies. I wish Hulkbuster had at least one immunity. Something, right? Like, you would think that a dude inside of a suit of armor, inside of another suit of armor, would be bleed immune, right? Or at least heavily bleed resistant. You would think. But no. But no. Jupiter's saying, hey Rob, what up Jupiter? I prefer my soda in a can, just tastes better. How about you? I agree. In a can. Because by the time you pour it out into a glass, it winds up losing a lot of its fizz, just getting poured. But then if you don't drink it right away and it sits out for a bit, it goes flat a lot faster. Can feels at least like it sticks around for a bit. Anemone had a lot of fun with Summer of Pain. Kisley liked Act 5. Nice. Grandmaster in general. Yeah, see, exactly. Like those modes are fun. Challenging. But they're fun. Because it challenges you as opposed to like being like a straight up BS node where it's just like either a resource drain or like a, you know, an intentional brick wall where no amount of skill can surpass it or surmount it. Peepy says, no fun, only grinding. And bring me pictures of Spider-Man and maybe I'll take that creepy webhead off your hands. Alright, JJ. Now that's a movie I'm looking forward to, too. No Way Home. I just gotta stay off the internet for the rest of the year, I think. Because I haven't been spoiled on Venom, but supposedly, like, the entire plot has been leaked. So that's fun. And then I'm sure there's going to be leaks coming out about Spider-Man. I'm sure there's going to be leaks coming out about Matrix. It's like, I don't want to know leaks. I just want to go in with an open mind and, like, a clean slate. It's not too much to ask, right? No content was that much fun for me. I've done everything, though. I suppose that's fair, too. Gwynmaster was alright, but I didn't understand any of it the first time through. Like, I actually like the 6-2 champion boss a fair bit. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. I would have liked Gwynmaster a lot more if my first, I don't know, dozen revives didn't get wasted on her in me realizing that Stealth Spidey was bugged the whole time. Like, that just didn't feel good. Summer of Pain was fun. Gauntlet was pretty fun. For me, difficulty adds fun, as long as it's actually possible. Yeah, very true. Act 7 has been a little easy, but as long as we get other very challenging content, it's cool. Hope so. And we're still slugging away with Rogue. There we go. Heard a rumor that Kingpin will be the bad guy in the new Hawkeye series. Well, that'd be pretty cool. If they bring Kingpin in as a character, that would be fun. But just in case any other news like that winds up being a spoiler, let's probably cut off chat on that, huh? Wonder if we'll be playing off of like the Ving Rhames Kingpin from the Daredevil movie, or if they're gonna cast a new character or what. question of the day, says Andy. I think any drink is better in a glass, to be honest. Juice is better in a glass. I'll say that much. Juice is so much better in a glass. Andy, by the way, I decided not to go for Archangel. Yesterday I was so tired and only got to like 30 mil. I feel bad for your fingers. Yeah. The grind can get rough. Cyber asking my thoughts on incursions. I think it is a wonderfully forgotten game mode with terrible prizes. Like, I think incursions by itself is a lot of fun, especially if the person you're playing against is somebody that you know very well. Then you can have fun with it, you know? You can have fun with the banter, and you know how the other person plays, so you don't need to worry about it as much. I just wish that the incursion prizes kind of match the times. Because right now, the prizes really aren't at all worth the effort. If you turn the random crystal into a selector, that could be a different story. So I can do it. Beautiful. Beautiful. This Shang-Chi challenge is definitely not in the fun category. Very few viable counters unless you've got a specific champion. Yep. You gotta do it all in one stretch too. There we go. Excuse me, Mr. Iceman, I'd like to play too. Well, that's it for Hood. Not even close. How am I still hanging on? Yeah. That actually was a lot closer than I thought. Alright, focus time. Oh man, stupid evade. A very small stun window too. Get out of here. There we go. I was going to say super focused for those because I don't want to lose the streak. They need to put a Nexus or some 6-star incursion crystals in the store or something. Yes. Absolutely that. Absolutely that. Because here's the thing. If you grind incursions, like, and get all the milestones in Zone 7 and Zone 8 each time as it refreshes, you still got to do 2 cycles and change to get a 5-star crystal out of that. A single one. And then it's a 10% chance to get your character. So it's like, I don't know, what, a month and a half to get a single shot, a single 10% shot at whoever you want. And each incursion takes like a couple hours, depending on the difficulty. Nah, that ain't worth it. Still need to do it. I guess that's what the units are for. That is why they put pots in the game. Just in case. Boink, doink, yoink. Oh. That's not what I was expecting to happen. Thank goodness for noodle damage. The power of 1,000 noodles. Beautiful. Or at least make those like special incursion objectives weekly or every few days when the milestones are set. Yep. The sad thing is that incursions has been almost completely ignored this year, and I have a feeling it's going to continue to be ignored. Just as like a side effect of the whole Dex evade situation. Like, that must be costing these guys an arm and a leg in, like, dev time and costs and whatnot. Trying to rebuild and refocus the engine. It would have been nice if Corvus was not the only answer for a good shot at the Shang-Chi challenge. Just made it really boring hitting them into the block. Very monotonous. Yes. Icy-ish, part of the Club Cat raid. That is awesome. Thank you very much for stopping in. Cheers on the raid too for Cat. How's it going, everybody? Glad to have you. Welcome to the Friday edition of the live stream here. I'm going for Odin top 100. We'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed, though. Oh, I misread that. The Club Cata Icy. Cata Icy. Okay. Well, Icy, appreciate that, bud. And Cataclysm, it is always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Welcome to you both, and welcome Raiders, too. Howdy, howdy. Gonna head out for the night, Rob. Have a good one, everybody. You too, Cyber. Be well. We'll catch you next time. It's going well, Cat. It's going very well. Just chugging along. Just chugging along. Slowly but surely. But, man, these grinds are rough. I always forget how rough the grind is. Every time, I always forget. Herbie popping in. How's it going, Herbie? It's been a minute. How's it going, bud? Yeah, we both raided you because we were doing incursions together. Hey, nice. I love it. Let's do that, let's do that, do that. Let's get a couple more rounds in. Just for good measure. So tonight's goal has just been slapping everybody silly. Slapping everybody. So we got a day and a half exactly now left. And see how it goes. Icy-ish saying double raid. Man, I remember you going for a grind like a few weeks ago. Who'd you go for again last time? Sorry for the mic. A few. I wound up going MCoC and wound up getting 102. Which feels bad, man. That one still feels bad. Wound up going for Medusa right after that and got Medusa, which is pretty cool. And, I don't know, I've done a lot of grinds recently. I did this Spider-Gwen grind when she came around. I did Luke Cage grind, but that was a while ago. Did Overseer when he was in here. Yeah, a few. But hey, I live and breathe arenas. It's a fantastic place to get resources between gold and units. There's that. Rob and the arena are symbiotes. We are Rob Von Rena. I mean, that's a word for it. will be a red symbiote, just because my hands will be so swollen from jamming them into a glass screen so many times. Am I used to the grind yet? No. No, I will never be used to it. I know what to expect, which I suppose is probably like the next best thing. And I know what needs to happen in order to make the grind happen. But every time it just feels bad. Every time it feels bad. And I don't know if that's just like me mentally blocking out the trauma of an arena grind, or me just being so much more focused on the prize at the end of the tunnel. But, you know, here I am again. A slow learner, I guess. Text that. So, Killmonger, huh? It was a fun episode of What If this week. I enjoy this series. I'm looking forward if they wind up doing a season 2. I'd very much enjoy if they do that with like Star Wars and stuff too. Just be careful on that reflect damage. That works. That works. Herbie asking, do you still play with on the baby accounts? Every now and again. It's been painfully neglected, just because of like the copious amount of arenas I've been doing. But every now and again, I jump on just for kicks. And it's nice. I've got what 3,100 units on the baby account now. And those are all going to be going towards the gifting event. Assuming, of course, we still have a gifting event. Mileage may vary. We'll have to see if we haven't lost the privilege yet. Pew, pew, pew. Beautiful. I'll take that. I will take that. Killmonger episode was really good. Wasn't impressed with the last two though. Left a bad taste in my comic book purist mouth. That's fun. That's a fun way to look at it. What if Vader had the high ground? Yeah, I mean, you could do so many different things with Star Wars, right? What if Luke missed? What if Luke joined Vader at Empire? What if Luke turned? Or, what if Vader lived at the end of Jedi? What if Maul ran over Anakin in the desert? Stuff like that. What if they killed or captured Dooku at the end of Attack of the Clones? Yeah, and yeah, what if Anakin won? Like, you could do so much stuff with that, and that's just like basic premise stuff. Renee, you are most welcome, my friend. You are most welcome. Talking about the Eye Hulk cheese for the Cavalier quest, where you gotta KO a bunch of enemies in Act 6 or Act 7 content. Video is on the channel here, just going over how you can use Eye Hulk to just make your life so easy. Still takes a lot of energy, but that's just the nature of the quest. But you can do it easily. Why not make the Star Wars Legends comics into cartoons? Problem solved. I would not be opposed. Just don't tell Kathleen Kennedy. You know what? I would really like to see what if Rey actually wound up being nobody. Instead of the stupid convoluted nonsense that they did to tie her into the mythos. Because I was on board with her as a character. I just really don't like how they threw the theme of that they were building up with her over 2 movies out the window just to be like, see, she's somebody. No, that's the whole point of her, is that you don't have to be somebody or related to somebody to be a somebody. You know? I think if they would have spent 5 minutes charting out the movies as they were getting started, they would have saved themselves a lot of grief. Dylan says, yo bro, my best player is 4-star Ultron. How do I get more 5 and 6 stars? Well, the best way to do it, honestly, if you've got the time to do it, is to grind arena. However much you can put up. Like, however much you can put up. The milestones usually wind up having some flavor, some quantity of shards, 5-star shards. So you can slowly start building up shards that way to open up more crystals. If you finish up the monthly content, you got a lot of shard crystals there that way too. I mean, obviously spending money in the game is the fastest way, but yeah, you're spending money. And then there's a lot of freebies they hand out for the daily login. So if you log in once a day, by the end of the month, there's usually either a nice, healthy, like, drop of shards or like a full-on crystal if there's an event. It adds up. It adds up. Like on my baby account, I think I've only put in like 30 hours, 40 hours tops, something like that. I've got 3 5-stars already and a whole boatload of 4s, just mowing down content. You get there. You definitely get there. What if they got an actual mechanic to fix a park ship instead of a 10-year-old boy? Right. What if Anakin didn't stay in the cockpit? What if Padme realized that perving on a kid was not a good thing? They kind of gloss over that in the second movie, huh? I would want to see what if Finn was a Force wielder and trained with Luke and Rey. Yeah, what if Finn actually had character development? We can just, like, strip it back even further than that. What if Finn had a point? I feel so bad for John Boyega. He was terribly wasted. Terribly wasted. He deserved so much better. What is this What If series? If it's good, I might get Disney Plus. You see, it's taking, it's like a twist on the established MCU, right? So far, like, the first episode is like, what if in the beginning of Captain America First Avenger, you know, right as Steve was going to go into the chamber, right, and you had that Hydra sleeper agent pull out the gun and shoot Stanley Tucci. Well, what if he also shot Steve Rogers too? Then what? So it kind of explores that. Then it's like, what if, this is one is a bit more of a stretch, what if T'Challa was taken by Yondu instead of Peter Quill? What if Doctor Strange lost Christine instead of, or what if Christine was in the car with Doctor Strange when it crashed instead of just him? What if Hank Pym brought back a zombie virus from when he went to go get Janet in the micro realm? Stuff like that, right? Like, some of them are a lot of fun. Some of them are like, sure, it's a comic book show. We'll just roll with it. And then the most recent one was like, what if Tony Stark met Killmonger at the start of the Iron Man movie? Seeing as how Killmonger was in the army at the time. What if Jar Jar was a Sith? Yeah, I mean, that could work too. It'd be a huge bit of delightful fan service, but it could be fun. These aren't what ifs, they're how it should have been. That's fun. In a couple of cases, yeah. Be a lot more interesting. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Sadness was that episode. Pretty much, right? It'll be fun to see what they continue to do going forward from here, you know, for the back half of the season. But the last one is going to be, what if Thor aimed for the head? Yeah. What if Thor Rags gets an insane buff? What if Thor Rags was fun to play? How about that? I would be all on board for that one. My 6-star Ring 3 Sig 200 Thor would be very happy. And I would be very happy by extension. So I think after this, they've got... what's coming up next on Disney Plus? Is Hawkeye next? Like the next thing? Because I know that's coming out end of November. So is it like what, the Star Wars anime? The Star Wars one-shots? And then Hawkeye, I think. Alright, Icy, take care, bud. Thank you again for the raid. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll catch you later. Pew pew. Pew pew. Glory Man says, I don't care if Finn was a stormtrooper, there's no way he lasts a second against Kylo if he didn't have force sensitivity. Yeah, I mean, yes. The worst thing that they could have done is tease it in Rise of Skywalker and then do nothing with it ever again. So disappointing. So disappointing. And that would have been a fun, like, full development character arc, too, that he goes from, like, a stormtrooper nobody to becoming, you know, a trained Jedi. Or at least a trained Force wielder. I was also of the opinion that it would have been really cool to, if they would have formed a new order of Force wielders, where Kylo still kind of wins, where his whole notion of just doing away with the Sith and the Jedi overall as a concept and just starting something new. That would have been fun. And that would have been like huge, massive potential for EU and stories coming out of that movie too. But no, none of that. I also think it would have been 10 times more interesting if Rey actually joined Kylo. Now, you want to talk about subverting expectations. That would have been a subversion that would have been actually, that would have paid off. That would have been fun. You can still have the same, like, redemption story arc, whatever, at the end of, you know, in the third movie, but it was just such a boring, tried and true Star Wars trope that just played by the numbers. Join me and together we will rule the galaxy as, I don't know, you and me. No, don't do this. Not like this. So sad. Such wasted potential. That's what I'm mad at. Like, I don't care about the whole Mary Sue argument. I don't care about... I mean, I care a little bit about the Luke Skywalker treatment. But that's what I care about the most. That's the biggest part that bothers me, is that there's no point to the sequel movies. There's no point. There's no new narrative. There's no world building for exciting other things. There's no point. It's nothing but wasted potential. You wind up in the exact same place as you did at the end of Jedi. The only thing that's different is that you've wasted 6 hours, 7 hours of your life watching movies that don't matter. Man Falcon popping in saying, howdy Rob. Hope all is going superlatively. It is going quite well, as a matter of fact. Peepy says, I don't think I'll ever watch Rise of Skywalker again. Probably the first one and maybe the second at some point. I will still watch Force Awakens. I have a very, very warm, happy, fuzzy spot for Force Awakens. Because at the end of Force Awakens, I still felt like there was so much potential for, like, what's gonna happen next? And I liked Rey, I liked Finn, I liked Poe, I liked Kylo. It was interesting. Harrison Ford finally got to kill off Han Solo like he's always wanted to, so sure. And then... But, I mean, like, John Williams was actually able to score the piece the way he wanted to, so it's like, you know, the last good John Williams score before his music was horribly, like, edited and butchered and, like, 180'd at the last minute for the last two movies. Oh, hey, I've got 4,000 units exactly. Huh. Don't see that a whole lot. Because John Williams scores based off of the script. He bases off he has a theme for the characters, and the theme kind of follows the characters as they develop. But if there's no character development and nowhere for them the theme to go, what's he gonna do? Or if they're pulling the plug on the script and like changing the story in the 11th hour, how are you gonna pen a score for that? That's why Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker were like, the score was as bland as it was. I mean, heck, the only really good piece out of those two movies was the Battle of Crete theme, where Luke marches out, and then like the Battle of Crete, even though he wound up ripping off like the TIE Fighter theme, because they ripped off the Death Star trench scene for that sequence, but like Force Awakens had Rey's theme, which is fantastic, top-notch John Williams Star Wars. It had Kylo's theme, which was interesting. It had the Resistance theme, which is fun. It had the island at the end. That theme. I mean, I know the island's called Acto, but I think the song itself is called the Island, or Journey to the Island, something like that. Dylan says, I just hit that sub button. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that, bud. Glad to have you. Glory Man saying it was the best one, Force Awakens. Yeah. Because say what you will for J.J. Abrams, and you can say an awful lot for J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, his strongest suit is the entrance. For most everything that he's done recently, like the pilot or introducing a story, is his strong suit, just because his style is like throw everything out there. I'm gonna throw this and this and this and this, and the writers that come after me can like, we got all these different breadcrumbs we can play with, we can make it interesting. Like Lost was the exact same way. You got a fun setup, you got enough pieces in play where you can like pull a cohesive stupid. You can pull a cohesive story out of it and have fun with it later. Where J.J. Abrams isn't the best. It's sticking the landing. Lost. Star Wars. Star Trek. So yeah, Force Awakens was fantastic just because they threw enough out there where it's like, hey, I don't have to come back for the next two movies. I left enough here you guys can pick up and run with. Herbie says there's nothing like good old Empire Strikes Back. It's true. It's true. My favorite of the lot. Because of the pacing. The pacing is what does that for me for that movie. Of course you got the twist at the end, but the twist is, it's so ingrained in the culture at this point. It's like the twist doesn't have anywhere near the impact that it did. Especially since George kind of mishandled the prequels in that sense. Is that the prequels ruins the Empire twist. What he should have done for, what he could have done, should have done for Revenge of the Sith is after Obi-Wan beats Anakin, that's the last we see of Anakin. He's like dead, burning on the shores of the lava lake, and that's the last we ever see of him. and the rest of the movie is just like stupid. It's just Obi-Wan taking Luke, because that's the only one that we know of. We don't know that there's twins. We just know there's the one kid. Takes Luke to, you know, Tatooine. That way it's like, oh wait, Anakin's still alive in Empire. And then by the time we get to Jedi, it's like, wait, there were twins? Without it being like, yeah, obviously we found that out like 4 movies ago. You know? Like, if you're watching it chronologically, like, one would assume future generations would. Why would you not watch something chronologically? Haley's digging all the Star Wars chat. Once I get it going on a tear, on tangent, then there's just no stopping. New fan, big fan. Hi, everybody. Well, hey there, hi there. Happy Friday. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. Now, the question is, of course, you know, oh, come on. I don't want to die to Nick. Question becomes is like which, not is like the which. Let me try that one again. Man, I am going to get wrecked to Nick, aren't I? Question becomes not which is the best Star Wars, because I think people could narrow it down to New Hope or Empire for the most part. But like which, that's a special 3. Look at that, no damage. Freaking psycho, man. But like, which of the different Star Wars movies opens up for the most like world building EU potential? And to me, I think one of the top spots would have to be Attack of the Clones in that regard. Because if it wasn't for Attack of the Clones movie, then there would be nothing with the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars is some of the best storytelling Star Wars content to come out of the franchise. Plus, you got all the different clones and all the different paint and armor and stories with all the different, you know, generals and all the different planets that it introduces wherever the war takes you. I also have to preface it that, like, I was the peak target demographic when those movies came out, so I kind of fell right in line for that. So I may be a bit biased, but for me, just like, you know, exploring all the side stories, and then Jango Fett too. Boba Fett was always cool. But to me, he was always just like the cool guy standing there. Sure, he had appearances in comics and stories and whatnot, and that's nice. But to me, he was always the cool guy standing there. So when Jango came around and they actually did something with like him as a person, and then Star Wars Bounty Hunter came out of the game that like really fleshed him out, then I was like, dude, Jango's awesome. But I know them's fighting words in some circles. But now they're bringing a Boba Fett background for official canon in Mandalorian and then Book of Boba Fett later on, so my opinion may be changed depending on how they write his story for like whatever new Disney canon is. Anemone says, I liked Force Awakens and I liked that Last Jedi took risks. I mean, I've liked all the risks, but I felt like Johnson was really trying to take it somewhere different. I would agree with that. I like that it took risks. I don't like the ending because the ending took no risks. The ending fell exactly by the books, in line as it should have. I think like the final subversion should have been Rey joining Kylo. Instead of just like, nope, I'm gonna be a good guy, you're gonna be the bad guy. Sorry a bit. The farther we get away from Last Jedi, the more I appreciate the way Luke went out. Not the way that he was characterized or how he got there. That's a different discussion. But the way he went out, that's growing on me a little bit more the farther out we get. Really like JJ's first Star Trek. Second was okay, mostly because of Brandy Buck Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch is a very good actor when he wants to be. Sherlock was bloody brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And he's got moments here and there too. I think as he gets a little bit older, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be one of those actors who has like that distinctive voice, right? Like Ian McKellen's got a very distinctive voice. Obviously Morgan Freeman's got a very distinctive voice. Sam Jackson, now that he's older, has a very distinctive voice. Come on, dude, just throw your stupid special too. Dancing across the entire stage, waiting. Thank you. Good Lord. Matthew McConaughey, he's got a distinctive voice, but it took him a long time to get to that point too. I think Benedict Cumberbatch will be at that point eventually. Just the way, especially speaking of Khan in the second Star Trek, the way that he enunciates, or as Smaug, right, the way he enunciates. But I think he just needs a little bit more of like the age maturity, or the grit or gravel, however you want to say it, for it to really like sink in. But until then, the inflection is, in my opinion, a little hit and miss. And I'm sorry, bringing it back to What If, I do overall like the idea of the story for the Doctor Strange episode, but the way that he read some of the lines was just so bad. It was just so bad. Oh no, oh God, oh Christine, no, not like this, no. Ah. Okay. ManFalcon says, making new Star Wars is tricky as there is a large adult audience and they are trying to attract new fans. Yes, but Favreau and Filoni have proven twice over now, well, once apiece, but twice over now, that it is certainly possible. So, it's possible. It's a little bit of give and take, you know. You gotta trust the audience to come along, and the audience has to trust you to take the audience someplace where we want to go. We just don't know where it is yet. Lakers Bodyguard popping in saying, Mr. Shoe, good luck with the grind. I'm going for him next round. Hey, appreciate that, bud. And best luck to you, too. The cutoff for this guy is going to be pretty spicy, I think. Peepy says, so technically Mando is the ruler of Mandalore after taking the Darksaber, right? Correct. I hope Season 3 explores that dynamic between Bo-Katan pushing him to step up and rule. I hope so. I hope they keep pushing Bo-Katan as an ally as opposed to like a splinter rebel insurrection. That could be interesting. Because I'm sure there's going to be conflict, because I don't think Bo-Katan is super thrilled that he's the wielder of the Darksaber, and I don't think Mando is pretty happy about it either. But them's the rules. Reason kids love it is because adults love it and take the kids to go see it. And if ain't broke, don't fix it. Adults got the money. Yes, and don't insult your audience either. If your movie sucks, it's not because the audience doesn't get it or your audience is just inherently against it. It's because your movie sucks. You know? And I think the more times that movie makers keep using that excuse, the less and less people are convinced by it. Like, don't get me wrong, there is an argument to be made that there is a faction of reviewers on the internets that just inherently don't like something or don't want something to succeed just because of their own petty reasons. But to say that the vast majority or the entirety or the entire reason that something failed is because everybody is that way, no. That's called alienating your audience, and you don't win any favors that way. Haley says Kylo really didn't have to die. I'm upset. He didn't. He didn't. His whole redemption arc was dumb. It was not good. So you could have done it two ways. You could have stuck with the original script where he just doubles down and he just becomes like the alpha, not even Sith, because he never was a Sith, right? He was a dark Jedi, a fallen Jedi at the least, right? But he could have been, or he could have, was it the original treatment? He found, forget what that dude's name was, where he learned the ways of the Sith, basically, in the original treatment. He became like, you know, the dude, and just like doubled down on him being the villain. Or you could have kept going with the redemption arc and he survived, which would have been very interesting, and he'd be sort of like, well, now you got to atone for it. You don't get out of jail easy just by like offing yourself. That's not how that works. It would have resonated a lot more. It was like, okay, well, now you got to like atone for real for like, you know, the planets that you blew up, or were at the very least just allowed to happen. Not to mention, you know, all the people you interrogated and killed firsthand. We're not going to talk about that part. He's Ben Solo again. Yay! Now he's gone. But it's okay because he romanced Rey behind the scenes. Somehow. So it makes it all okay. It's not a romantic kiss. It's like a friendship kiss, just like the Luke and Leia one in Empire. It's not romantic. Friends do that all the time in real life. Right? It's so dumb. It's so dumb trying to like listen to them explain their way out of a corner. And no, it's not good. Palpatine. You know, Palpatine, like, emailed his spirit through the ether to Exegol. And, you know, he had a couple of backups handy. That way he knew what happened on the Death Star. Because his spirit transferred from that clone body that died on the Death Star to his OG body, which was on Exegol this whole time. If that's still the latest explanation of how or why. He's like, cool guys, I'm going to spend 20 years building a fleet of Star Destroyers that are going to wind up getting destroyed within minutes because we ran out of film. And these are going to be the alpha bad guys. These aren't regular stormtroopers, these are red stormtroopers. Just as ineffective as movie stormtroopers, but with new armor so we can make toys. The salt overfloweth. To further my point, would you want to watch Shrek or a classic Disney movie like Cinderella? Both are kids' movies, but one is loved by all ages while the other is enjoyed by only one demographic. It's true. On a complete tangent, have any of you guys seen like the Disney Cinderella movie within recent memory? I have. That's not a Cinderella movie. That's a cat and mouse movie. Cinderella takes a backseat in that movie. Cinderella is only part, like, it's a 90-minute movie, tops. Tops. Cinderella's in that for maybe 20 of those 90. The rest of it is just like Gus and whatever the tall dude's name is, with other mouse antics with the cat. And that's the movie. It's because he had his shirt off, remember. It's true. Ben Swallow. That kiss was ridiculous. And it's out of nowhere, too. It's like, wait, they were lovers all along. They were meant to be. And then he dies. So sad. Gus and Jack. Was it Jack or Jack? It was just Jack, right? Not Jack. Jack is Incredibles. Like, there's certain force powers that I can just go along with, right? Like, I don't understand what the upheaval was about force healing, because that's been a thing in, like, books and games for years and years. Force bringing somebody back to life with no other repercussions, like that person like has lost a significant chunk of their soul or something like that. No. No. No thanks. Try again. Like the lightsaber fight around the Vader helmet, like the cross-dimensional, trans-dimensional lightsaber duel is a cool theoretical thing in theory, and execution-wise, it was done well for conveying how that could look. So I'll give him credit for that. It was a fun exploration of the idea, That was probably the best part of the movie. You could make a big argument. I mean, was it worth it? Could that have happened? Should that have happened? I mean, of course, make that argument, but visually it was interesting. And then when he says, it reminded me of that guy on Screen Rant who does the pitch meetings where he jokes, well, but they're the main characters and they're good looking, so they are in love now. Of course. It follows. Attractive lead 1 falls in love with attractive lead 2. Will they, won't they? It's not will they, won't they, it's should they, shouldn't they. I don't know, I was one of those guys, one of those people that was starting to like get on the bandwagon shipping Poe and Finn. For one, it would be interesting. It would fall right in line with like the mantra of the rest of the trilogy, where it's subverting the expectations. But also because those were like the only 2 characters with any sort of charisma. So it kind of like you could see it, how it could work. But Disney didn't want to do that because it would kill their international sales, so they didn't. And both characters wound up doing nothing of value the entire time. We did get that good meme though from Poe, Oscar Isaac. Somehow Palpatine has returned. Somehow. There you go. That's all you need to know. Somehow. As he gaslights her throughout the trilogy. Right? It's silly. It's so silly. But then we got Mandalorian, and we got the final Clone Wars season. Then we got Mandalorian, and things are looking back up again. Things are making sense again. You can say what you want about like the fan service bringing a Mandalorian character and Baby Yoda for the marketing. But we're starting with the basics. Star Wars is telling coherent stories again. We'll work our way up from there. That's the entry level right there. Step 1. Tell a cohesive story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Sad. Alrighty guys, that's probably a good stopping point right about there. But what I like to do at the end of the live streams here is I like opening up a crystal, right? Let's open up something random. Almost full on that. Not going to be doing that. Let's open up a 3-star crystal because I have a few. If you guys want to guess who's going to pop out of that crystal, throw that up in chat or in the comment section if you guys are watching after the fact. I'm going to guess it's going to be a Silver Centurion just because he's newly added. But that's going to do me for the stream tonight. Thanks for hanging out. It's been the Friday edition of the 6-star basic Odin grind. I'm going for a top 100 spot. If you're new to the channel, consider liking the video. Subscribing to the channel too. It helps the channel grow. It's a newish channel. And all that stuff helps the channel grow. Helps the YouTube algorithm too. Appreciate that. I'll be streaming again Sunday for the Super Cereal Sunday Cereal stream, chowing down on something super nummy. And it is Ultron. Alright, I'll take it. Hope you guys have a most excellent rest of your night, most excellent rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. I'm Rob vonShoe. Take care, talk soon, stay safe, and be well, everyone. Bye for now.